Welcome to the garden that is Garden G. It's the bathroom and recycling zone garden. Now, as you can see, this garden is where the toilet is. The toilet, which is a flush toilet, does have a wonderful view of our little jungle garden. So I've given you a quick overview, and I'm just going to point some of the maintenance activities. Basically, what we try to do with the garden, this garden, is we try to ensure airflow. The air comes from this direction, where the shower is, and it flows through here. So we're always trying to just thin out the weeds in here. Now, it's the weeds, I'll try to identify some that we see around that are weeds. One of the one that's a weed, this one right here. This one would be a weed. Ferns are nice. We love ferns. This one here is called stinkmiley. Right here. And you can see this one makes a vine which wraps around plants and basically strangles them. So you can see how it's wrapping around here. So this is stuff that we would just pluck away like that and thin it out so that way the plants don't get strangled. When we're thinning this out as well, we also look for leaves that are covered in black, that are covered in mold. And with those ones, even though this is a plant we want, what we do is we thin it. We simply prune the plant, we take out the black leaves, and that's a way of, again, making the area breathe, because this is an area which is against a mountain, so it's easy for it to get a little bit dank without the airflow. And especially with that big plant over there, you can see that blocks it a little bit. So by thinning out the weeds in here, it allows us to keep the garden nice and healthy. Same thing on this side. This is the recycling shed over here. The back area here, we like to weed and thin out that so that it's, again, so that we have the airflow. Every now and then in the back here, we get little landslides and rocks fall here. So this is one of those maintenance. You can actually see a big rock in the background there. That's one of those things that we have to maintain. Over to the shower zone area. So there's a middle area here. There's the shower zone area. And this is the other area that we're weeding. So basically, keeping the beauty, keeping the plants, the pretty plants, and the airflow. It's now, right now the garden looks a bit devastated at the moment, and that's because it was weeded yesterday by a wonderful girl from Quebec. So it looks a little bit grungy and broken down. But what I'm going to do right now is just put my finger on some of the plants that are that we want to keep and that are not to be weeded when we're taking things down. All right, I'm going to hand it. This one over here, this is the awapui. This is the shampoo ginger. If it's black and it's got the black leaves, then you can trim it, but you don't have to pull this one out by the leaves. This one over here, this is bamboo. It's a beautiful bamboo. Again, it doesn't have to be killed, but one thing that's really good to do sometimes is to have someone take an old toothbrush and run it along some of the main branches of the bamboo, because again this area gets very damp. We want to stop the mold from growing on the bamboo, because then that makes the bamboo grow healthier. And it's not really that you stop the mold and the fungi, it's just that you're brushing off some of it with the toothbrush, and that just makes the whole plant grow a little bit healthier. So there's that one. This one here is gorgeous, this plant here, but at the same time it's something that does get a little bit too big, a little bit too dramatic, so every now and then we have to just cut it back and trim it down. The awapui and the croton, these two, they need to always have stuff weeded away from them so that they can get some sunlight. Once they get a little bit of growing, I want these in the foreground because they grow slowly. They don't grow very quickly, but they'll be a beautiful accent here as they get to more life. But they do have to have things cut away around them so they don't get too sheltered and then grow too slowly. And then of course you have the anthuriums. Again, the anthuriums are a perfect one to have by the shower, and they grow beautifully. The main thing again is you have to weed the stuff that overhangs them so that they don't get overshadowed too much. This one is this is a copper leaf. We want to keep that one, and I think those are some of the main things. The tea leaf, the pink tea in the back. We are going to be putting some other plants in the back here. We do want to put citronella for anti-mosquito, and we also want to put some red plants in the back and some colored plants and flowers in the back for more perspective and more beauty. So this is a garden that we can definitely make more beautiful, but it's got to be plants that we plant in here that like shade, like a lot of moisture, don't get too much sun, and that look beautiful, and ideally even with a nice smell. So that way, because it's a toilet and bathroom zone, so perfumed plants will always make it good. Thanks a lot. Aloha.